Hello, welcome back. Finally, the eagle has landed here. Finally, we have the UHQR of ZZ Top's Tres Hombres as the UHQR 45 RPM version. And luckily, thanks to DJ Zocchi, who is the other partner here in the vinyl room, who is also delivering records together with Thomas Busk for the vinyl room, I'm provided with extremely interesting comparisons. I could compare the UHQR version against the US first pressing from 1973. Then I have a German pressing from 1980, and I have a 2014 European reissue of Tres Hombres, which put out some very interesting results in the comparison. So luckily I had that one. That was quite interesting to see. But before we go into the comparison and into the topics of how good is each pressing, how does the UHQR hold up to them, let's get into the content of this release. So we have the outer box, as I have shown in the typical UHQR design. Then we have a wonderful soft touch matte finish in a gatefold jacket. I mean, I love this. I love this picture. Wow, Mexican food, I guess. Wonderful. I'm always getting hungry when I see this. Then on the back side we have the titles on the four sides of the release, and of course every copy is numbered. It comes with 5,000 copies. Then we get advertisement. Then we get, I always like that, but it's always the same, but very interesting. If the ZZ Top is your first UHQR, you have the technical specifications of the facts that makes the UHQR so special and how they reach this in general amazing quality. And then we got a wonderful brochure. Remember the picture for later. So this is the picture of the brochure, and then of course you have a little essay about the record and stuff like that. Always interesting and nice to read and watch. Here you see the tapes, and at the end, on the last side, you have the specifications of this mastering, and it is mastered by Matthew Luthens at the Mastering Labs. And this is always, when I read Mastering Lab, I'm always very happy, because this is the all-tube driven, all-analog mastering console from Doug Sachs that Chad Kasem bought at the time. Yeah, that's the content. And of course, we have the records on the quality decolorized vinyl. Here you can see the label. We can remember, here you have Warner Records Stereophonic on a blue label. And yeah, I show you how different it is when it comes to the US first pressing. And of course we have the certificate. You have it with every UHQR for this edition. So 5,000 copies, limited edition. And yeah, let's start the comparison. And of course, let's start with the most interesting, of course, at least for me it was the most interesting, with the US first pressing. So here we have the first pressing. As I said, DJ Zocchi provided me with it. And yeah, again, we have this beautiful gatefold with the amazing photo inside of the Mexican food. Backside is quite similar, although of course we have it here on 2 sides and not 4 sides, as this is in 33 and a third edition. Then remember the picture. the original inner sleeve. See, that's how the essay got its front page. And of course we have the label, which is different from the UHQR, but probably due to you're not allowed to use that label probably nowadays. That is always the reason if you have a different one, at least from what I do know of. And yeah, the record itself, the comparison, Lagrange. You know, when I talk to people here in the vinyl room, it was always, oh, I can't wait to hear Lagrange on the UHQR. And damn how right you were. The whole album sounds amazing. It is a really, really, really great sounding album by ZZ Top. But Lagrange pulls the trigger. It's fantastic, really fantastic. If you don't, you probably know it, but if you haven't heard it for a time, go and listen to it. It's an amazing song, really, really amazing. The whole album, Tres Hombres, is of course the breakthrough album from 1973 from ZZ Top, and yeah, for most of us, or for many of us, it's the best ZZ Top album. Of course, you also have Afterburner, but Lagrange is a top album of them. It's also amongst the 500 top or best album on the Rolling Stones list. And yeah, if you compare it, what's the difference? Is there a difference? And yeah, there is a big, 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 big difference. But before we get into the big difference, let's talk about the small difference. The UHQR, of course, also due to the fact that it's on 45 RPM, has a higher dynamic and a higher transparency between the instruments and a wonderful, beautiful blackness, which is better than on the original. Big difference, but not the biggest, but big difference is also the drums. I was surprised on my equipment how important and how prominent the drums are on that record. And they have so much more punch and tempo. It's amazing. It's amazing how hard those drums kick on that UHQR. Don't get me wrong, the original is also a great sounding album, no doubt about that. But now to the biggest difference from what I've heard over the whole album. And that is, I hope this is the correct term in English, the UHQR is so fat, so much, and not darker, but fatter. It's so saturated and so analog, so beautiful in its depth of the sound that I was really surprised. And I don't have that here on that American First pressing. That was for me the biggest difference. And of course it suits the sound of that album great. It supports this Texas sound, rock blues sound so good that I was really surprised and really happy with what I've heard on the UHQR. That for me was the biggest and most surprising difference, the fatness. I hope it is the correct term, and I hope you understand what I mean. It's deep, really cool, really amazing, and it's as I said, it suits the music amazingly. Yeah, then let's go on a timeline. Of course, I have the 1980 German pressing, Warner Brothers. The label again is quite different. I'll show you. That's the label on the German first pressing. Wait, I get it out so you can see it better. See, that's quite a familiar label. And yeah, and to, I don't want to go too deep into it. In a nutshell, the German pressing is quite similar to the US pressing. you also have that not so fat sound, but it's a very good sounding record. So if you have that 1980 pressing from Germany, you really have a good one, really good one. The third one was quite interesting and surprising. The 2014 European pressing. All of them are in that gatefold. I don't show it every time because it's always the same. I don't want to put it into a length that's not deserved. So the European pressing, and that was also a surprise, it has that fatness that the UHQR has. Not that much, but goes into that direction, and that was quite interesting to me. But it doesn't have, of course, that dynamic tempo and soundstage and the room between the instruments. But sound-wise, it was in the direction of the UHQR. And that was quite interesting. I would not have expected that. But hey, you only know when you listen to them. But of course, and of course it's not a big surprise, I guess, this is, like always when it comes to an UHQR, the definitive edition of Tres Hombres, in my opinion, at least from the ones I could compare. And yeah, it takes advantage of the whole format. Analog mastering, all analog mastering, 45 RPM, perfect vinyl. So this is for you if you want to get out the most of a record, or if you want to get the most out of a record, then this one is yours. Yeah, so that was the ZZ Top. It goes on with more videos. I hope I can do it until tomorrow, but as we have a holiday, it looks really good. Tomorrow I will also compare, again, DJ Zocchi provided me with interesting and wonderful first pressings. I will compare the America self-titled from Analog Production, and I will compare the George Benson. So that will be in the next video. I don't want to put it in this video because I don't want them to be too long, so you can concentrate on one title. Next video will be with 2 titles. And then of course we have the 2 Bill Evans I will do a video about, and yeah, so quite some videos are coming. I want to go into originals, interesting, amazing originals Thomas Busk has sent me over the time. So as we have a longer weekend, of course I have the vinyl room open on Friday and Saturday, but now I have 2 free days, so I'm sure I will have the time to do some videos. And if you are interested in original pressing and amazingly rare and beautiful, or not so rare but still beautiful records, maybe you have time and watch on the German channel every Thursday. I'm doing a live stream with DJ Zocchi and Thomas Busk, and we show a lot of records, and both DJ Zocchi and Thomas Busk shares their amazing knowledge and love of music and records. Maybe you want to join us. It's on the German channel, who is now called the Vinyl Room. So I thank you for your time, and I hope to see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye.